We're live. Ability.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the longest running episodic show in 239 history, the Thursday Throwdown. I'm your host, X to the D. That show just never makes it anymore, man. I'm Ability. I'm hanging out here with the beautiful Cortez and the more beautiful Dalai Lama. So beautiful. These guys right here kicking it off. We thought we were going to have Pale Poner, but Pale, he's not here yet, man. What's going on, Pale? Cortez, how you doing tonight, bro?
I'm doing good. Listen, I'm not even mad that you introduced Dolly as more beautiful than me because he absolutely is. This man he is an aroma of sexy. It's just that simple. He's that guy. Dalai Lama, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us this week.
Thanks for having me. It's been a while since I've been able to get on here and be a dick to everybody, so I'm excited to do it again.
Amen to that. Welcome in, Mr. Pale Poner, just joining in with us. We tried to be a little bit late on the show, so we give him some time to get in.
What's happening, guys? How you all doing?
Before we keep going, I think your mic is going through your computer and not that headset, if that's what you were aiming for.
Let's see if I can figure that out. Hold on.
Just mess with your little settings tab up there in Hangouts, and it should come up for you as your microphone ever. But anyway, we'll go on from that. Mr. Mark Ferguson, a.k.a. Agent, is supposed to be joining us at some point here from the road. He gets off work at 8, he said, but it might be a little later. You see, as right now, he's not here yet, so that's probably the case. So tonight we don't have Daily, and it's because, man's got to work. Throwdown's not important enough. That is your head. You got the right mic on, by the way, by doing that. Throwdown's just not important enough to him. Like, come on. Like, I get it. You work, you support your family. Like, I get it. We're going on a month straight now. 4 straight weeks of the Thursday Throwdown. And this man can't even be here for the 1 month anniversary of us going live again. Like, we can't even be there for that.
Yeah, it's like he's got multiple jobs or something.
Amen to that. Listen, Billy, you've been grinding. Dolly, you've been grinding. Paley, you've been grinding. And listen, I haven't been grinding. I got nothing going on. I'm just playing hockey. So tonight, what we want to do is we want to break down Season 8 a little differently. We haven't really done this yet. And it's going to be the whole idea of competitors versus pretenders. And so what this means is we take a look at who are in the top of the standings and we evaluate their teams and we say, are they a real competing team and will they stay up there? Or are they a pretending team that's just kind of had a fluke of a schedule? Things have worked out for them and they aren't really going to stay in that spot. And if they do, how's the playoffs going to kind of go for them? So Pale, you and I talked about this a little bit today. You're a little familiar with this. What do you think on this whole topic of competitors versus pretenders? Like, what in general, like, what are you thinking about it?
I mean, not to take any shots, but I look at your team, Cortez, and we're leading the league in goals for. We're 4th in the league in goals against, leading the league in shots. Decent shooting percentage. You guys have a lot going for you. I don't know that you're the number 1 seed in the league right now, though. I'm not a believer, Cortez. I think that you're obviously a playoff team. You're obviously somebody to be reckoned with right now because you're just running through a lot of people. You're 19-4-1. Nobody can take that away. But there's a lot of good teams out there. You want to look at a team that I think has the ability to be a true contender, and it's no Regretsky squad. 7-3-2. The guys hasn't played a whole lot of games yet. He's got the least amount of games played in the league, I think. And that's a team that scares me a little bit. I think it's somebody that's really going to improve as the season goes along. And he started off really well to begin with. I mean, he's got 16 points already. I don't know. I'm excited to see how the season pans out, but looking at it right now, there's a lot of teams up there that are in contention.
Well, so Dolly, let's continue on that. Do you have anything you want to say on behalf of what Pale said, or do you want to go off in your own direction with that?
To be honest with you, I mean, I feel like there's a serious drop off after the top 9 teams right now. It's maybe 10. I don't think there'll be too much change in terms of which teams will actually be in there. I think Regretsky is going to get in there. I think Mac might go down a little bit since he's got quite a few games. He's got 9 games in hand on Regretsky's, and he's 1 point ahead of them. So I really feel like that's going to be an easy jump for Regretsky's to come up into the top 3-4. I feel like there are teams that got off to a hot start that are starting to play against teams that have figured their shit out now and that they're struggling. A good example of that, and Russ, I love you, and Kayla, I love you. You guys are awesome. But it's Stamps' team. They started out super hot, and then they played us, and they lost. And we looked like we weren't going to be very good. But we made trades. We figured our shit out. Everything's clicking better. And they struggled. They lost 2 series in a row, and they still dropped a game last night, even though they were pretty handedly beating whoever they played. I forget. I think it was Webb's team, so Marty's team. I think that they're going to drop a little bit. I think Schwartz's team is a product right now of an easy schedule. They have a lot of talent. I don't think that means that they're going to fall down. I do think that means that now they're going to be tested because you have played easy teams. Sorry. I do feel, Cortez, that your team has been very successful, but I think that other teams are going to start catching up to you, man. Like even our series was very close and we've improved a lot. So you're going to have a lot of tests from here on out, man. Other than that, though, like Pale's team, we played them last night. They're better than their record says. I don't know how far up they're going to go, but we're just going to have to wait and see on those.
Ability, what are you thinking over there?
Well, I can't disagree more with some of the crap that Dolly just spewed about my team product of an easy schedule. That sounds a little bit more like some D-Swish hating to me. But hey, I'm getting used to that. I'll say this too. I also didn't really agree with what Pale said. I think Cortez's team has came out firing. I mean, first time captain here. And to me, man, I can relate to what's going on with Cortez's team. This looks beautiful to me. I like it. He's up there in the top spot. I hope he holds on to it. In fact, I hope he runs the table with everyone in this league, except for my team. Okay. Just keep that in mind, bro. We got a battle coming up, but, I don't know, man. When I look at this, Regretski's team, the fact that they only have a total of 12 games played, like something about that just preaches, doesn't give a shit to me. So, I mean, they could be a contender. I mean, if they really play well on the ice moving forward, if they can get enough time in together to make that happen, sure, I'll give them a benefit of the doubt. I don't know, man. I'm a little bit disappointed with Drug Monkey. He really just kicked his own balls in to start the season, and it's hurt him. It hurt him bad, and I'm sorry that I had anything to do with that. Even though nothing really had to do with me. That's a bummer. X Daly's team is exactly where you picture them being, and Yam also is exactly where you picture them being. So those are a couple tragic happenings right there, Daly and Yam. Lord only knows what can happen to that team. Daly's working all the time. Yam Bag just can't get out of the Yam Bag slump. It's legit. It's a Yam Bag slump. What's going on there, man? I had nothing but high hopes for this team because I thought he drafted a pretty good team, but things haven't panned out for him. So I don't know, man. Dominator Silva, he's had a couple goes at captain. I think that this might be his season to really make a push for it. His team's kind of, who I'm rooting for in the middle of that pack there. I don't know, man. My last kind of bust team that I see on here is Jelly's team because they have D-Swish and he's a cuck. Thanks.
So, all right, big shout out to D-Swish for making the diss tracks for the league. I mean, Ability wasn't a huge fan of the one at him, but hey, listen, Ability might come back at you. Just fair warning there, man. But no, you guys all make great points. To Brian's team, especially, no Regretski's there. When my squad played them, I think they're the best squad I've watched through streams that I played against, played with, and like warm-ups and stuff. They have, in my opinion, they are going to be the hardest team to beat in this league due to the sole reason that you have to outscore them, and it's so hard to do that. And to me, is the same way like Pale said. They are going to be that team for me that is the serious contenders that are going to they're going to get up there. They're going to finish in the top 5. They just need to get those games in hand. But what sucks is as they are waiting to get these games in hands, every club is getting better because they're getting more time together, more games, and they're learning each other better. So, I mean, that's kind of one worry I have. If you would have asked me this question maybe about 4 hours ago before this trade went through, which we'll talk about later, of Hugh Laurie and Jofus, I would have said Marty's team, I think, is more of the pretenders. I think they have a great team, but it's so hard to hold it down with just Marty back there and Sniper and Net. I mean, and just to throw salt in the wound, I'll say Josto's team. They played some great teams. They've done great. It's not really fair for me to say that because he was only there. Like, their full lineup was only there for one game. And listen, neither one of us had a great game. It was the turdiest turds of all turds. Tomahawk and DJ played great. The game's goals could have been over 10 each for both. But either way, I'll throw Josto's team out of it then. So I think Marty's team, now that they have Josto, not Josto, sorry, Jofus, they're going to stay right up there. And I just think, so is Brian's team. Pretending wise, I don't know. I really don't know. When I look at any of these teams, maybe I pick my own team. I've said to everyone on my team, we've had an easier schedule so far. We also didn't practice at all in the beginning of the season. Our first time we played together was our Jelly series, which was the very beginning of this beginning of the season. We went 1-2, and then I think we played your team, Dolly. I almost called you Dom again. Listen, so
three tonight.
I know. So then we played your team, and that's the second time we played together. And I mean, we got a sweep, but that was a hard series too. That was a hard battle, and I think my team has just slowly gotten better. But again, though, we haven't played the greatest of teams yet, and that's no slight diss at anybody we played. I mean, Pale didn't have his full lineup. Again, Bergretzky's was the best team we played, and I think they have the strongest team moving forward. And like I said in the beginning of the season, Kyle, aka Holtby at center, is their weakest link, and he is running smooth with this team. So I had to eat my words of what I said earlier, but that team's great. So I like the way you guys all broke it down, but my thing is, I almost called you Dom again, dude. Dolly, I love your team. Your team is doing fantastic. I think with the trade for Pogs, it's working out even better. How is your forward lineup now? Is it you at left wing, Shea at center, and Pogs at right wing?
Yeah, it is. And to be honest, I played forward 5 series this season, and the only one we lost was against you, and we barely did. So we're doing good enough.
Well, I was gonna say, I think you guys are gonna get even better with that. Like Pogs being a right winger is a huge surprise to me. Obviously, I know Shea is center only, but I think Pogs can make it work. Pog has the hockey IQ. So I think with you being a finisher and that whole line working, I think you guys are gonna get better too. I think this is one of the hardest seasons I've been able to look at the top 8 to top 9 and say who really doesn't deserve to be there, because I can't really pick one team. Maybe depending on the spot they're in, that's a little different. But other than that, the bottom 4 teams, it makes sense to me right now. But other than that, it can get kind of full spun together. So the next thing I want to kind of touch up on then is exactly what we just said in this, is some trades. We had Hugh Laurie for Jofus. This is a trade I really want to touch up on. Jofus goes to Marty McFly, and Hugh Laurie goes to Yambag. Ability. If you are Hugh Laurie in this situation, you went from a team that is in the top 3 or 4 teams, and you just got traded to the last place team. How are you feeling right now?
Well, I mean, you hate life. You absolutely hate life. Your beer tastes bad. Your food doesn't taste the same. Everything feels like a kick in the nuts. You don't want to talk to anybody. You're basically hanging up the jersey already, okay? That's what it feels like. I've only done this to one player in my career. I got traded for Jelly. You guys know the story. But I know firsthand that the players that go through something like this, they don't like it. They hate it. It's one of the worst feelings they can have. It gets them a little emo. They want to go back and retaliate against the captain who traded them. That's no surprise. But if you look at it from a different point here, without me kind of giving away the next trade topic, I mean, he's going to get an opportunity to play with the team. Actually, I take any thought that I just had right there absolutely out the window. This sucks. Hugh Laurie hates life 100%. He's not going to be happy about it whatsoever. Everybody that's still on Yambag's team is probably already, mentally on vacation, eating ice cream sandwiches, chilling at the beach. This is just a no-win situation for Hugh Laurie. Sorry, Hugh.
Well, so Dolly, now you're Jofus. You just went from being on a team that's won 1 game all season, and you are now a top 4 team in season 8, and you're looking like you're going to make the playoffs, and you're on a top offensive line. How are you feeling if you're Jofus?
I mean, I'm sure he's feeling good about going to that team. Here's the thing, though, and I love Marty to death. He's a great captain. They didn't improve their problem. They didn't. Like, you move Webb to center, he's not going to be more defensive than Hugh. Their offense was already great. Jofus, all they did is just make their best scoring winger their center, and then put Jofus there and not fix the defense. I don't get it. I really don't get it. And to be honest, I think the skill is actually a lot closer than people realize. Jofus isn't a first-round player anymore. He may have been way back in the day before it got more competitive and, in the Moose and stuff, but he's not now. He's not. He hasn't played enough. And he was not a first liner either. It's more like 2 third liners were traded for each other, and hopefully it works out with both teams.
Well, so Pale, Now, take the captain perspective of this season, and you look at Marty's team and look at Yam's team. How do you break down this trade in general? Why did Marty go for the trade, or why did Yam go for the trade?
Well, I mean, Yam went for the trade because his team has 1 win through 15 games. So, I mean, at some point, everything's not working, and it's time to just make changes. Marty goes for the trade. I think Marty and maybe some other people on that team feel like Welcome to the Web is a better center than he is a right wing. I don't know how true that is. I don't know whether that's real or not. But I mean, look, Marty obviously wasn't happy with something that was going on up front, and he decided that he needed to make a change, and he did. And he unfortunately sent Hugh to the basement with Yambag, who has a .067 win percentage on the season. It's fantastic. Hugh has been raging all day about this trade. He's so emo. He's so depressed.
I mean, you can't blame him. You can't blame him. He went from a team that he's helped work the whole offense and everything. He's played his defensive game that he's great at, and just got
quite
douched.
sure that Jofus is cheering in the streets. He took off his shirt, ran outside, and was just running around cheering, doing laps around his development while he
he just enjoyed life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, so now which team got better from this trade?
That one's tough.
Who does it work out for more in the long run? I mean, it's a very easy question because, I mean, Marty's team's in the playoffs.
It's going to work out for Marty in the long run because Yam's team isn't going anywhere but staying in the basement, regardless of who he picks up at this point. Like, he's just not – like, there's no way to recover from a 1-14 start. You just don't do it. He's played half the season and he has 1 win.
Well, so let me ask this then. Dolly, I'll go back to you because then we'll start the next topic with ability over there again. So if you're in Yam's position, you're 1-14, and I think 1. What do you do? Like, you're that spoiler captain. You have to take away points from all these other captains that you've yet to play to try to ruin people's chances of getting in the playoffs and such. Do they have a team that can win games with? I think it's BBX, Hugh, and Steven, and then Yam and Magilla, and then B-Crips and Net. Do they have a team that can really actually go into a series and say, hey, we're going to take 2, if not 4 points from you?
Yeah, they can take 2 points in a series. I don't see them beating anybody. I do think that Yam actually got his team improved more out of this trade because now he has a center, which he didn't have. Because he was playing himself at center at Game 3 against Mac's team when they got brutally swept last night. So I think Yam's team improved more so, but at the same time, I really think they're only going to take 2 points here, 2 points there. I think that they just got to have fun with it for the rest of the season. That would be a really tough one to go through, and I know that BBX makes stupid, snide comments, and it's going to get in Steve's skin, and that party's going to blow the fuck up. And I would love to be there to watch a meltdown, but I mean,
that's going to be what
the video clips.
Sober show back is when BBX makes a comment to Steve, and Steve needs to get it out there how much he hates it, and so SO is going to have to get online after the season that's happening with Daly and say, all right, we got to have a show just for this humor. Just for this comedy of what's going on. So I can't wait to hear it either. But ability, let's go to the next trade now. It involves BBX. It's Peaceful Bob for BBX. Peaceful Bob goes to Mac North, so Mac North moves up to left wing, and BBX moves to Yambag, and I think BBX is going to be playing left wing as well there. So it's a straight goalie for winger trade for these teams. What is your opinion on this trade in general?
Well, Bob has had a pretty good start to his goalie career, and I think him getting to take the ice with Sea-Doo in front of him is an opportunity that, he's just going to fall in love with. So, who doesn't want to have Sea-Doo defending you? I mean, if you're a goalie, I would love it. I would love the opportunity. Sea-Doo. Yeah, Sea-Doo. What did I say?
Sea-Doo. We're really bad with names today.
Yeah,
look, I can't even make fun of anybody.
All I can say is I'm taking Schwartz, okay? That's it. Anyway, the team's pretty good. I like Mac's team. Surprise me, Agent. You got BBX up there. if Bob can save some pucks, Mac's team's on the rise for sure. I think that he definitely benefited. I don't want to say that because that comes off wrong. Mac's a good goalie, but I think that, Bob has really just been playing goalie. I mean, just been playing goalie, really. So he's probably a little bit more solidified and ready to take it. He's eager. He's hungry. That's what I'm getting at. So I like that move, for Mac's team. And, BBX going to Yambag? Yambag?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus
Yam finally
Christ.
gets a left wing. He hasn't had one the whole season.
That's awesome, man. Yambag gets a left wing. Meanwhile, his left wing is in the locker room trying to find anything he can to slit his wrist with because he hates life, just like you, Lori. This is in fact, they might even team up this season, hate life together for what's left of it. They might create their own fucking team just called the Losers and be done with it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's really what we've witnessed here. Now, it breaks my heart to see any other player go to Yambag's team because he's in last place. Not because it's Yambag's team. I love Yambag, but because they're in last place. So I got to say this right now. If any other captain cucks trade a fucking player to the last place team, you deserve to be kicked in the balls. It's plain and simple. I mean, no shit given. It's a bad move, okay? If your guy's on your team and you're doing good so far this season, like these couple of captains have been, don't trade your fucking players to the last place team. You guys are literally cucks, the biggest cucks in the league as of this moment. Thank you. Besides D-Swish.
Dolly, you got a response to that, buddy, or what?
Well, that was marvelous. To be honest with you, I really think that Mac's team did improve, but not nearly as much as one would hope. BBX was causing a lot of problems in that locker room, like a lot of problems. He was doing his typical thing where he wouldn't talk during series. Like when your center mutes himself for the entire series, I'm annoyed as fuck. I'm so mad at you. I never want to play with you again. When you mute yourself and nobody can know what you're doing on faceoffs, how the fuck do you expect your team to react? No one's gonna be happy with that. So he was doing that, and he was making comments, and so Mac decided to sit him. And put himself at forward and play Epic in net. So, I mean, Epic love you to death, but, Bob's an upgrade from Epic, and then Mac wants to play forward. He's heart set on it, despite his team's suggestions not to when their backup was Epic. But I think they improved a little bit. Like I said before, BBX got his own set of problems, and that party is just going to be fucking magnificent to listen to. Really want sound clips? Please, someone stream. Yam, if you stream, I will donate to you $10 every single time just to hear them talk to each other.
You got to do it, Yam. You got to do it, man. Pale, I'm going to skip over you because I'm going to go to you with a different question after this. It came up in the captain's chat, and Schwartz told me I could say this. Schwartz said he thinks BBX isn't the most talented player. And Daly and I have both on this show said the thing about BBX is, Dolly, you said it right. It's those snarly little comments that can be made that what the intention of the comment is to do. It's to make you think that he's better than you and you need to follow his way. And I think that's just in general his personality that's hard to deal with. It was the same way Dank was. It's the same way McSwagger used to be. And the thing is with him, BBX can carry an offense as in the sense of he can get the puck in the zone and he can wiggle with it. But the problem is he misses wide open passes. He misses wide open plays. And I think with Mac going up to forward now will surprise me an agent there. I think this offense just simplified itself so much more that they'll actually get more production out of it because you're going to see those easy passes made. You're going to see the cycle going. And I think it's really going to work out for Mac's team. I mean, Chelsea can only hold so much back there. Dolly, you'll know. Who's the left defenseman? Isn't it like Hollywood Bob or something like that?
It is currently Surprise Me's brother, Beautiful
Wiener. Okay, so Beautiful Wiener comes in his rookie season and plays great for Pale's team. And then after that, kind of dropped right down. And I mean, he can always come back and he can always bounce back. And he's got the right D partner for it right now. So let's see how they can do. And Bob, listen, Bob just came off a season winning a championship. No matter what little flukes there are or anything, that's something I haven't done. Ability, I mean, you've done it. Pale, you've done it. Dolly's done it. I guess I'm the only loser here that hasn't done it. So that's fine with me. But he's got something to prove. He's been sitting on the bench all season because Mac moved himself back. Then he gets traded to Yam's team where he has B-Crips, sits on the bench, then plays right D, but then gets traded to Mac North now. Wait, is it Mac? Did he just go back to Mac? Is that what happened? Mac originally drafted him, now he's back at Mac's team? Okay, I thought it was Marty's team originally. Okay, either way. So Mac gets it back, and Mac just puts himself at forward and just everything's simplified out. And the man himself, the Hawaiian guy, joining us on his drive home from work, Mr. Mark Ferguson. How you doing?
It's not even my drive home. I just got off of work, and I have to go drive elsewhere for the old lady. So I'm good. Long-ass day, but...
Well, you came in you came in at the perfect time because let me tell you why. We're discussing the BBX for Peaceful Bob trade, and I kind of touched up on how the offense on your team now is going to be so much more simplified that you don't have BBX carrying the puck everywhere, that I think it's actually going to work in your guys' favor because those quick, easy passes are going to be made. A cycle game is going to be played. Shots from random spots are still going to happen. And I think it's going to help your team. Do you agree, disagree?
I do. Epic's played really good in net for us. So I think he's really good at it, but I think he also would agree that Bob might be a little bit better than him in net, and that's what we're going to go ahead with forward, and then we're going to split some time between Wiener and Epic on the left D. So I think both are going to be beneficiary to our team. I mean, we played against you guys with Mac up front, and we had offensive chances. We had the opportunities to do a lot of stuff. We just weren't burying the puck. So I think we had the offense there. A lot of people say Mac can't play forward, which he struggled when he played wing, but we put him at center, and he's played really good. We had a good series against you guys. You guys obviously played better than us, and you deserve to win. But I think we have a lot better team all around now playing the way we are. So I think it's going to be a good – hopefully we can put together a good stretch of series here and just get ourselves into playoffs here at the end of the season and see what happens.
Agent, can I get confirmation that it is your team's intent to split time on Wiener?
It's not set. Well, yeah, obviously that's, me. But no, nothing's set in stone with our lineup of shuffling people. I told Mac if I have to go on left D, I'll go on left D. I don't give a shit. I want to win. I want to make playoffs, and once we make playoffs, anything can happen. So that's the goal.
All right, ability is a fucking cuck.
Wait, I'm surprised he even made it. He didn't talk in the chat all fucking day, and all of a sudden he's just being a smartass. Huh?
Well, he's fine. Listen, he's coming up with little rebuttals for D-Swish right now. He's got it on a notepad and everything. He's coming up with it. Pale, what were you saying, my man?
No, it's gone.
Okay. Well, so that brings me to the next thing I wanted to talk about. Ability brought it up about how Yambag is in last place. And then right above that, you got XDALY. How, Pale, this is perfect for you because as a veteran captain in this league, someone who's captained multiple seasons, been here almost since the beginning, when you come in, and I mean, your team's lower right now, but I give your team the benefit of the doubt because your team hasn't been there for every series. Like, you've had to use waivers, you had to use your bench player. Like, you've been struggling to get your guys there for practices and games. As a veteran or captain, you go into that draft. Why does Daly go with SO again in the first round when it didn't work for him in season 5? No shots at SO. SO's a great player. That's no shots at him. I mean, as in, why does Daly go with him again in the first round for SO to carry his offense if it didn't work in season 5 and is looking for it in season 8? And then you look at Yam, and he takes Brick knowing it might be a harder time. And both of these captains are really struggling. How does that happen to a veteran captain going into that draft? How is that big of a mess up made that the team can't play that well together at all?
I mean, with Daly, like, he knows the draft. He knows who's in the pool, and he knows everybody that's there. But there's a comfort level with certain people. And, some people you just play really well with, and, you can't figure out what the other right pieces are to go around it. Daly's team being at the second to last in the standings is not on SO's shoulders by himself. It's not.
No, and I agree with you. And I agree. And that wasn't the intent. And that definitely wasn't the intent. I meant it more as go ahead. I'll let you finish.
I think Daly more have struck out on his second pick than anything else. I mean, he goes off the board and he takes a guy like Shea, who's a No Regretski's referral, and he's a center. And I don't know if Daly had even played a game with him before he drafted him.
He had not.
So, you take a center like off the board that you don't know anything about. You don't know how he's going to mesh with your play style or your first round picks play style. And, I think that's the mistake right there. I think you can build a team around Esoteric and Daly. I think that's a capable team that you can build. I mean, it's not like Esoteric has been somebody that can't play in this league that can't be a first round talent. I mean, he went to No Regretski's team and he won a championship with No Regretski's. So he's a guy that's proven to be somebody that can be taken in the first round and win a championship with.
Well, a rebuttal to that is, though, Brian is a top 2, if not number 1 pick in this league when he's not a captain.
I mean, wouldn't Daly be if he was in this draft?
Can I go?
Go ahead, Dolly. Absolutely.
Yeah, sorry, I don't mean to interject here or interrupt you, Pale, but I have a very different opinion. I think Daly's team was a product of Daly thinking that he's more valuable at forward and that he could carry the forward, like the offense, as himself on forward and SO as a secondary. That was Daly's mistake. If I am Daly, I am playing right D. It is by far my best position, and I'm taking a scorer on my forward line. Last season, I was able to get away with playing left D for my team. My best position is left wing. But I got away with it because I had Cosmic and Kevin up there to score goals. And Yeti had 45 goals. What the hell was that? But it worked because I had the balance up front. Daly's team did not have that. Esso is a great number 2 player. He's a great number 2, but he's not a number 1. I don't think he made a mistake with Shea. I think Shea deserves to be in that like mid-second round to mid-third round pick. You played him last night, Pale. I mean, with the exception of faceoffs, the guy is sound defensively and he moves the puck quick. I think that Daly's mistake, another mistake that he made was that he picked his friends. Like he picked Chu and he picked Esso, and it's hard to just, get on your friend's case when they're fucking up. It's not like the buddy thing. Oh, hey, you got to do a little bit better next time. No, like if you want to win, you got to be serious and you got to like actually tell people how it is. And it's hard to do that sometimes with your buddies. Another thing with Yam's team is Yam is a product of overvaluing veterans from the MHL. I've said it for so long. They're so overvalued, and he jumped too high on Jofis and Megs. God love him. He's a very reliable guy, but he's not a defensive anchor. Yam isn't as good as he thinks he is. He took Surprise Me, whose offense didn't mesh with any of the play styles of everybody.
He took Brick.
Sure, you're right. He took Brick, whose offense didn't really mesh with the way the core plays, right? Like if you got Yam and McGilla and then Brick, that's going to be a problem. That triangle is just going to be completely fucked because you're going to have Yam and McGilla here and Brick's like at center. Like, how do you defend that? Like, Brick is a very fast moving player. As soon as Yam gets the puck, Brick's gone. So if Yam doesn't get him the puck quick, then there's disconnect there. People overvalue their veterans in this league, and it's very unfortunate to see because a lot of the new players, like you look back to Regretski's, when Regretski's came to the league, he's now probably the best forward in the league. That includes me. He's just like super dynamic. You look at Thompson when he came in, man, he's a monster fucking goalie. Chelsea came into the league a few seasons after. She's probably still the best defenseman in the league. The people that started this league aren't the best players anymore. They're not. DMart will tell you that too. Like, he's a fantastic player, and he would absolutely concede that Regretski's is better than him. People need to start looking in the mirror and truly evaluating themselves, because you're going to have seasons like Yams where, I mean, God love the guy. He was doomed from the start because he told me that Jofits was a top 5 pick.
It sounds like a very typical Yam comment.
Okay.
Hold on, Billy, because I got something I'm going to go to you after. Unless
I got something I got to say about this. Just because the opinions have been thrown out there, I might as well give mine on this. Okay. As far as Yam bag goes, okay, taking Brick City, let me tell you what I have. I've come to the consensus that Brick City's been playing nice. He played nice with Yambag. He was trying to be more positive, a positive attitude type guy. And you know the type of player you get with Brick City when all of a sudden he's got to be positive? It's a very calm, dull, I don't give a fuck what the fuck's going on type of player. Brick, I don't even care if you get mad at me for saying that. That's the way it is. When you fire him up, when you give him something to play for, when you play like crap and he has something to yell at you about, that is when Brick City ignites. That is when things happen, okay? It was doomed from the start. I will agree with that, but it's because Yambag is an admin and he took one of the most fierce competitors in the league that had to tame himself. That's my opinion on that. As far as Daly's team goes, man, I'm telling you what, Daly could have taken an elite forward. He could have taken a goalie. He had his pick either way. He passed on both of those. I think he took Esoteric because he doesn't have the time for the league during the summer. I think he's missed some throwdowns because of it. This is me being 100% honest. I think he didn't have the time. I think he knew Eso would understand this. And I think his current team, as it stands, is all kind of accepting of the fact that they're probably not practicing much together. Things haven't gone the way they wanted it to go. And I will say this one time only. When I captained one season, my first season, my second season also, I did put time into scouting. I tried to make sure that if players I wanted weren't available, I had great scout picks to pull from if need be. That propelled me to at least one championship and a deep playoff run. I will say this. Daly's got to get back to caring, okay? Because if you're not spending time scouting, I don't care what the reason is, you obviously don't need to be a captain. Captains are going to take the time required to give them and their draft and their team the best opportunity to win a championship. And if you're not scouting, because it's a new game, we're going into NHL 19 now. You're going to get another shot at this. If you don't scout the players that are playing well in this new game, the same sort of thing is going to happen again. That's my 2 cents on that. Agent, what do you got?
We'll give Marky a second. Mark, if you can hear us, you got to mute your phone and turn it all back on the app.
My connection is garbanzo.
Well, we can hear you just fine.
The whole time you were talking, you were like cutting in and out for me. So
okay, so let me hit you with something different. When you look at Daly's team on paper, he originally drafted Shea at center, Daly at right wing, Esso at left wing, True Therapy at right D, Wingles at left D, and then Slicky Slick in net. To me, that's not a bad team on paper. I thought they were going to be one of the better teams because I thought the 5 players in front of their goalie were solid enough to make it work. Mark, now, do you know Wingles and do you know Shea well enough to be able to say that you knew what this lineup was going to possibly be like a little bit before they started?
Wingles, no. Shea, I don't know him well. I've watched him play and I've like played against him stuff, so I get that a little bit. I think that he is really good defensively, which I think he was positionally sound every time I've seen him play and whatnot. But I don't know, I just don't think. I think they needed to make a change. I think they needed one person to be a dynamic forward. They had Daly's a good forward, but he's not a top forward. I mean, he's good with the puck. He can do what he wants, but he's not the guy. He's not a Dan. He's not a Regretskis. He's not a Surprise Me. They needed that person would have complemented Esso and Daly up front very well. And I think that's where they're lacking is sometimes when your offense is lacking, it makes your defense look worse than it actually is. Because I think he had a good defensive core. He has a good goalie. And they didn't – I think he needed to make one move on that forward line, whether he moved Esso or moved Chu. I think he needed to get a top forward that worked with him to make that team work. And they didn't. And now I think he waited too long to do something. I don't know.
Well, let me go into this because this is the one thing I've told Daly I think he messed up on in the draft. There is someone in this call right now that has won a championship as a goalie who maybe might not have had the greatest season or seasons, as in like 2 afterwards, but was available for Daly to draft, and he chose Slicky Slick over it. And I never would have done that, me personally. I don't know if Pale would have. I don't know if any other captain would have, but Daly chose to. And I told him he should have taken ability X over Slicky Slick in that draft. Because we all know when ability's on his game, he's one of the better goalies in this league. When he's not on his game, he's comparable to any other goalies in this league that are not in that top 10. And that's the problem because he is a top 10 goalie when he's on his game. And you can be ability. Go ahead, Dolly. I know you want to come in.
I can vouch for that on both ends of the spectrum. I played him at his best, and I've seen him at his worst. Thanks.
Well, so that's the thing. And I think that's where Daly really messed up on because Chu, listen, Chu's a great goalie and Chu's a great center. I think Chu could play right D just fine. I've seen Wingles play. The only problem I think Wingles really has is he can't move the puck quickly, and that Daly hates that. And I was very surprised he drafted that because I warned Daly before the draft about it, and he did it anyway. But he had 2 positionally sound defensemen. Daly, yeah, he's not a top 5 forward in this league, but he can create a play. He knows how to play the game. He can make it work. He could be an end of a first round, if not beginning of second round talent forward that you can get from anybody at those positions. Same thing from Esso and those 2 together with their chemistry. I get why it could be there. Shea, I think, was a mistake. He went off of it because of Brian's buddy. He knew Brian brought this kid into the league. We all talked about how Shea was a top versus player in NHL and thought that would carry over. And I will tell you, Shea is a good player. There's no doubt to that. He's just not – it was very hard for him to take that gamble right there in that moment in time without Daly seeing because Daly likes his players to play a particular style. And if Daly has to focus on defense when he's supposed to be playing offense, immediately takes away from Daly's ability to play forward, and it just doesn't work out the same, and especially from a forward he's never played with. So I think Shea being that second pick for him and taking Slicky over the other goalies that were there really hurt him. I mean, look at all the captains that are struggling this season. Yam took Marine Mike, but he was a great guy. He helped Drug out when all the way was Rule 1. And, I mean, that can happen, okay? I get it, and that was super nice of Yam to make that work for Drug, but look at Drug. Drug's team's not winning either. Regardless of their lineup. Yam's team's not winning. Daly's team's not winning. It seems to be goalie is the common denominator here. Maybe their team's not working, but I really think the poor choice of goalie takes a lot out of the team going into a series before they even start, knowing that they might not even have a chance. Ability, man. I'm gonna let you come back into this because I know Daly's not here. This is the perfect time to give your 2 cents on what I just said there. Even though you gave a lot, I want to hear if you think maybe you could have been the goalie for Daly's team and maybe could have fixed this season a little bit for him.
I don't have any ill will towards Slicky Slick. I have also played in another league with this cat, and I've seen him play out of his mind. So it's not that he's not capable, but for whatever reason, with Daly, you know, let's be real honest here. Maybe Daly not picking me helped me avoid the dumpster fire of the defense that's going on that team right now. I think that he himself would say he's not playing at his best. I don't know if that's in part because he doesn't have enough time to play in general, or if the team's really just playing that bad together. You know, if you don't control the puck for a majority of the game, your goalie is going to face a lot of shots, whether that be Slicky back there or whether that be me back there. You know, it's a toss-up. I mean, and really, I think that's how Daly felt about it. And either that or this is really just a very plain and simple answer, and Daly thinks that I'm a complete chode, which is very plausible. More than likely, I accept it. I've moved on from it. Peace out. Like I said, I drew a little picture. If I have my my next chance as captain and I can draft the entire league, Daly is hanging by a noose like a hangman. Peace out.
All right, those are the wise words of ability. Pale, I know you want to head out because you have a series coming up tonight. Who do you play tonight?
No Regretsky's.
Okay. So I'm going to hit you with this final question. I didn't write it in here, but I want to have the conversation because I just had it with Dolly before we started. What is your opinion on the sim win / sim loss rules, and or should they be followed, or should we even like get rid of it or figure it out? I want to hear from the point of view of an admin. Like, it could be like your own opinion, not as in the point of view of all admins. Like, let me hear what you think.
I mean, I think that they kind of have to be there, just in the sense that there needs to be something in the rules about if a series just legitimately can't be played. But in my personal opinion, I think a sim win or a sim loss like really isn't necessary to happen in this league. There's so many ways to avoid that situation that I think captains, which we hand select, should be mature enough to be able to figure out how to avoid a sim win or a sim loss or any kind of thing like that. Now, I know what happened between Josto and yourself that night. That's probably not been aired out. It doesn't really need to be. But I'm just of the opinion that if there's an issue with times and scheduling going into a series and both captains are aware of it going into it, then there needs to be leniency from both sides in figuring out what needs to be done to make shit happen. I mean, I don't think that it would be the worst thing in the world if Josto said, okay, well, we need to play at 10:10. My guys got to get up early in the morning. If we can't, then let's move a game to like Saturday or Friday or get it done sometime next week, just one game or something like that. I don't think that would be, that just seems like a logical thing to happen to make things right. And I think when sim wins and losses get pulled up into the conversation, both captains tend to take things seriously. They both tend to get heated about it, and hotheads have a way to make things difficult. But I think it all worked out. There was no sim wins. There was no sim losses. You guys played 3 games. It is what it is. The other thing is, though, a lot of these teams this season have 8 or 7 guys on the roster. If you have 6 guys that can play, all of them need to be playing, regardless of who it is. If your backup has to play, your backup's got to play. If your second backup's got to play, your second backup's got to play. You should not be asking for more time or a reschedule based on one guy's availability. You guys have 7 guys on your roster. That's what they're there for.
All right, so Dolly, I know you want to come back, but I'm gonna go to ability though. Ability, maybe you can go as long as you want. But what are you thinking about sim wins and sim losses as a former captain in this league?
To be honest with you, when it comes to this specific subject, I'm a little bit torn. I can see both sides of the picture here. What I have a problem with is when somebody says directly, you have until 10:20. You have until 10:15, okay? 10:10 is what you're allotted, okay? That's a grace period, 10:10, motherfuckers. If you go 10:15, if you go 10:20, and you come in at 10:22, okay? I'll give you 1 fucking minute extra, okay? 1. You come in at 10:22, sim loss. Done, book it. There can be no argument. It doesn't matter if your team's ready at 10:22. You weren't ready at 10:20, okay? You already got a 10-minute grace period on top of the 10-minute grace period. If you can't make it by that, don't matter if it's just 2 more minutes, just 2 more minutes. It doesn't matter. Sim lost that shit. And if a captain wants to take that to the next step and actually try and get that sim win for it, I'm in favor of that because that's legit. Your team's got to show up. We only play 2 series a week. And for a lot of guys, a lot of reschedules, sometimes we're playing 3 series in a week. Sometimes we're only playing 1 series in a week. If you can't make the 10 o'clock time, then what the fuck are you doing here? Seriously, we made an obligation to our team, to a bunch of players, that we're going to show up and we're going to play the game. I have no remorse if you can't make it there. Now, with the exception of Cosmic Fade falling asleep, because that's a real thing and it happens. But still, if he couldn't get up, I got to find a waiver. I got to do what I got to do because I'm the captain of that damn team. So I'm going to make sure that we're hitting the fucking ice by 10:10 or 10:15 or 10:20 or whatever I said I'd fucking do. If you can't do that, take your loss. Deal with it.
All righty, Dolly. Let's hear what you're thinking.
Well, I agree a lot, with a lot of what was just said. I agree with a lot of what Billy said. I agree with a lot of what Pale said. I mean, on one hand, it's good for the captains to be courteous to each other and trying to be understanding. There's no reason for someone to be a dick. You're not being funny. No one gives a shit. Stop it. Just talk to the other captain. Figure it out. That being said, this league in particular has a reputation for being very relaxed about the rules. When you do that, you create situations like this where people are like, oh, well, my starting 6 aren't here, so I'm going to need like 25 extra minutes, which is extremely annoying. I don't like starting series a half an hour late. It's stupid. This season in particular, we have no fucking waivers because they're all on your teams, jackasses, for drafting people for no reason in that 8th round. So I don't want to play a fucking computer. So if you're coming to me and saying, oh, well, we don't have our guy there, we're going to play a computer, I'm going to say, no, fuck you, you're sim lost. Sorry about your shit. Because you're supposed to have 2 other people that are happy to play and they want to play. And if you're benching them for your starting 6 and waiting 20 minutes, you're a fucking asshole. Sorry about your luck. Don't do it.
Okay. So I appreciate all the breakdowns from all 3 of you. I'll leave my own personal situation out of it. My opinion on the subject is, I think as captains, exactly what Pale said, you should always be able to work it out between the 2. And the way Dolly said it is, don't be that arrogant asshole that comes in and says this, and that, like verbatim for rules. Listen, Pale needed time when he was playing my team. I knew he was missing 2 guys. And I would have given him a reschedule if it could have worked in, but we had already tried to reschedule our series like 6 times, and we couldn't figure it out, like what day. I would have done anything for him because, listen, there's no point in playing a team if you don't have the best players there. And I get, like, everybody has bench players, and I'm all for it. And I think the bench players should play if like that time has come and somebody on your team's like, hey, Cosmic Fade's like, hey, I'm sleeping right now. Sorry. It's like, well, better get my bench player because you can't do anything at that point. My point is, with late starts, I have no problem giving you until 10:30 if you ask for it, as long as I say, yeah, sure. But I'm not going to message you and say, you have until 10:15 exactly when the challenge expires per rules. I'm not going to do that to you. Listen, we're all human beings. I'm going to give you the respect that I expect you to give me. If my team is a minute late to a 10:15 start, I appreciate that you gave me that extra minute, like Ability said. Now, if you're getting to like 10:20, 10:22, you haven't started yet, sim loss needs to be in it. I really think no captain should be scolded for trying to do a sim loss or a sim win for their team when it's a part of the league. If the other captain couldn't have been either I'm not smart enough or had enough grace time or respectful enough to get their team ready in time, especially when, again, leaving my situation out of it, if they can't have their team ready for what is that 10:10 time or 10:15 start, whatever is like that little grace period there, then something needs to be done. Like, you need to have either your waivers or you need to have backup players, or conversation needs to be happening. And if you can't give the respect for that, your team kind of deserves it. It kind of deserves it, whether it's my team, Pale's team, anybody's team. We just have certain rules. And just because it's a shitty thing to do Yeah, guess what is a shitty thing to do? Don't miss your series. Figure out if you have Xbox connection beforehand. Yesterday, Xbox connection was fucked up. At 7 o'clock at night, I was sitting there saying, hey, guys, I can't connect to the Xbox servers. I don't know about anybody else. Nobody replied in Captain's chat. Come to find out, Xbox was down and it came up for everybody else within like 30 minutes of that. But either way, like I was on at 7 o'clock figuring it out. And I get people have lives. I totally do. But you get on at 10 and you're not figuring it out, get your bench player on. Get a waiver on. It's too late to sit there and say, oh, wait 20 minutes. Oh, it's actually too late to the point that no message is even sent. If you don't send a message, that's on you. Anything like that. I just think you shouldn't scold the captain for going for a sim win if there's disrespect between the two already from the start. Number two, we really should be able to work it out between one another so there isn't problems in general. That's it for me. Sorry to gripe on. Sorry to carry it on. Either way, I know Pale has a series to catch. I know this was going to be a little bit shorter of a show this week. We thank you all for coming out. I mean, it's a month going consistently now on the Thursday Throwdown daily. I'm not sorry we ripped into your team, man. We all got to take the shots all we can. We all love it. We hope you're having fun at work, doing your thing. E-Sober Show, when are you guys coming back? When are we having some competition as a show here? What's going on? 239 tonight's been gone for months, guys. There's no competition right now. We need the E-Sober Show to come back, bring some quality content to this league.
Cortez, I'm a giant fan of the E-Sober Elitist show, but I got to tell you, man, after seeing some of the stuff I saw in chat one day, I have no faith. It broke my heart to see the words I was reading. I really just want to see the return of sober, okay, and esoteric. But I don't think it's going to happen, man. I think that might just be a boat that sailed. It's not coming back. I'd give anything for just one more show.
Listen, we have a big fan right now wearing a shirt on the show. And these guys can't even be respectful enough to have their own show. Look at Pale. He's shedding a tear right now knowing that there might not be an E-Sober show tomorrow night. Dolly, he's crying in the corner right now. We're trying to figure this out.
I already know. There is no E-Sober Elitist show tomorrow night. It's just not going to happen.
Does that bring more tears to the eyes or what? Because it's bringing tears to my eyes.
Listen, Esoteric, get your fucking shit together, bud.
All right, so we'll go off on these notes. Thank you guys for coming. Ability, do you have anything else you want to add in before we head out?
No, just the common rhetoric. I love the league. I love all you guys. You make this league great, and I mean that. Every time I jump into the shout box and I see you guys chatting, it brings more tears to my eyes. It's not the same type of tears as Esoteric just abandoning ship, but it's still tears. And I love you guys. I hope that we find a way to get everything rolling smoothly for the rest of this season. Let's get our shit together, captains, players, whatnot. I'm sorry for all the guys that got traded down to Yam's team, not because it's Yam's team, but because they're in last fucking place, okay? That's a douche move on the captains who'd send them there, okay? Anyway, I love the rest of you guys. Have a good night.
Pale, how you feeling, man?
To the Yam hellhole. Why would you do that? DVX and Hugh Laurie do not deserve that.
Nobody deserves that. Nobody. Dolly, how you feeling, man? What are you going now on?
Oh, I'm good. It's just grateful you guys had me back on. I'm not sure how often I can get on here, but I enjoyed talking 239 hockey and saying my opinion. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Amen to that. Thank you guys for joining us this week. We should be back next Thursday. Same place, same time. Maybe we might have something a little different. Just keep watching the forums. I'll let you guys know when I post it or Pale or Daily post it. Whatever. It's a fucking mess like it always is. But thank you guys so much for joining us. Till next time, it's been the 239 Throwdown crew. We're out. Peace.